This is TOEFL IBT speaking test, and this test evaluates your ability to communicate in English in an academic setting. It consists of 4 tasks. Task 1, express an opinion on a familiar topic. Student 1 agrees. She believes the rule is fair and necessary. She explains that many students tend to overextend themselves and stay too long at events, sacrificing sleep and academic responsibilities. She also agrees that the university should maintain a good relationship with the surrounding community. She says the new curfew will encourage better time management and help clubs become more efficient with planning. Student 2 disagrees. He strongly disagrees with the policy. He's involved in several student organizations and says most club activities already struggle to find time during the day due to classes and jobs. Evening events are often the only chance students have to socialize, collaborate, or attend club meetings. He believes the university should instead work on better soundproofing or scheduling solutions rather than restricting student activities. Listening passage, the professor elaborates with two examples. He describes a student who arrives late to class and feels like everyone is watching and judging him. However, the professor says most students don't notice, or if they do, they forget about it quickly. In another example, a student gives a class presentation and accidentally mispronounces a few words. She believes the entire class noticed and is laughing internally. But in reality, most students didn't catch the mistake or didn't think it was important. The professor emphasizes that this effect can increase anxiety unnecessarily and prevent people from participating in public situations. Task 4. Integrated Speaking, Academic Lecture, Listening Passage. The professor discusses the concept of behavioral mimicry, a subconscious phenomenon where people tend to imitate the actions, gestures, or mannerisms of others in social settings. He gives two examples. When two people are having a conversation and one starts crossing their arms or tapping their foot, the other person may unknowingly do the same. This happens because humans often mimic behavior as a way to create social bonds or show empathy. In a retail study, customers were more likely to purchase something from a salesperson who subtly mirrored their body language. This mimicry made the customer feel more comfortable and connected, leading to a higher level of trust and cooperation. The professor explains that behavioral mimicry can be an important tool in building relationships, even though people are usually unaware it's happening.
Personally, I definitely prefer working and studying in complete silence because it helps me focus more deeply and stay mentally organized. When there's music playing, especially with lyrics, I find myself getting distracted. My brain starts paying attention to the words or beat instead of the task I'm trying to complete. Silence allows me to fully concentrate without dividing my attention, which leads to better performance and understanding. For example, when I'm writing an essay or preparing for a big exam, I always choose a quiet environment like the library. I've noticed that I can absorb information faster, remember it longer, and avoid careless mistakes when it's quiet. Even background noise like soft music or conversations can slow me down. Plus, silence helps me feel more calm and less overwhelmed, especially when I'm working under pressure. While I know that some people enjoy music to feel motivated or make studying more enjoyable, I personally believe silence creates the best space for deep thinking, reflection, and productivity. In the conversation, the two students discuss their opinions about the university's new event curfew policy, which requires all campus events to end by 9 p.m. The first student supports the policy, arguing that it helps maintain a quieter and more peaceful environment for studying and sleeping. She mentions that late-night events often cause noise and disrupt students who live nearby, especially during exam season. On the other hand, the second student disagrees with the policy. He feels that limiting events to such an early hour will reduce students' chances to socialize and unwind. He argues that many students have classes and part-time jobs during the day, so evening events are their only chance to participate in campus life and relax. Personally, I agree with the second student. While quiet is important, college is also about building relationships and enjoying community life. A compromise could be made instead of a strict curfew, like designating certain nights or limiting noise levels rather than ending everything early. In the lecture, the professor explains the spotlight effect, which is a psychological phenomenon where people tend to believe that others are paying more attention to them than they actually are. This happens because individuals are so focused on themselves that they assume others are just as aware of their actions or appearance. The professor gives a clear example of a student who spills coffee on their shirt before class. The student feels embarrassed and thinks everyone is staring at the stain. However, in reality, most classmates don't even notice it because they're too busy with their own thoughts. Another example is when a student makes a small mistake during a presentation and believes everyone is judging them for it. But most audience members forget it quickly or don't pay much attention at all. These examples show how the spotlight effect causes people to overestimate how much others notice or judge them, which can lead to unnecessary anxiety and self-consciousness.
Task 4, Integrated Speaking, Academic Lecture, Listening Passage. The professor discusses the concept of behavioral mimicry, a subconscious phenomenon where people tend to imitate the actions, gestures, or mannerisms of others in social settings. He gives 2 examples. When 2 people are having a conversation and one starts crossing their arms or tapping their foot, the other person may unknowingly do the same. This happens because humans often mimic behavior as a way to create social bonds or show empathy. In a retail study, customers were more likely to purchase something from a salesperson who subtly mirrored their body language. This mimicry made the customer feel more comfortable and connected, leading to a higher level of trust and cooperation. The professor explains that behavioral mimicry can be an important tool in building relationships, even though people are usually unaware it's happening.